The Ibn Tulun Mosque, located in Cairo, Egypt, stands as one of the oldest and most enduring symbols of Islamic architecture in the world. Built between 876 and 884 AD, when it was finished and used for full-scale religious services, though limited use had already begun by the year 879. This magnificent structure was commissioned by Ahmad ibn Tulun, the founder of the Tulunid Dynasty, which ruled Egypt and parts of the Levant in the 9th century and had originated as originally Mamluk slave soldiers. This mosque remains a testament to the grandeur and ambition of these Tulunid rulers in Egypt, and continues to captivate visitors with its beauty and historical significance. Some historical context for this monument is that Ahmed ibn Tulun was a Turkish slave soldier of the Abbasid Caliphate. He was appointed governor of Egypt in 868 AD. However, he soon established himself as a de facto autonomous ruler in 870 and managed to found the Tulunid dynasty, which lasted until 905 AD, though he himself died in 884. During his reign, Ibn Tulun sought to transform Egypt into a cultural and political hub, and the mosque that bears its name became the centerpiece of his new capital, al-Qata'i, which is today Cairo, al-Qata'i being today absorbed into the later city of Cairo. But anyway, back to the mosque. The Ibn Tulun Mosque was built on a small hill called Jabal Yashkur, which, according to local legend, was where Noah's Ark came to rest after the flood. While there is no historical basis for this claim, it adds a legendary religious mythical significance to the site. Ahmed ibn Tulun intended the mosque to serve not only as a place of worship, but also as a symbol of his power and independence from the Abbasid caliphs, but, as I will also discuss, also as an imitation of the Abbasids' grandeur as well. The Ibn Tulun Mosque is a masterpiece of early Islamic architecture, reflecting the style and influences of the Abbasid Empire, of the Abbasid Caliphate, particularly from Samarra in Iraq, and more specifically copying the great Abbasid Mosque of Samarra. The minaret, one of the most distinctive features of the Ibn Tulun Mosque, is its spiral minaret, which is reminiscent of the Great Mosque of Samarra in Iraq. The minaret has an external staircase that winds around its structure, offering a panoramic view of the surrounding city. While its exact origin is debated, it is likely inspired by Mesopotamian ziggurats, and it is a rather unique feature in comparison to many other minarets on other mosques. The mosque is centered around a large open courtyard, surrounded by covered arcades, as was very typical of early Abbasid and Umayyad mosques. Compare with the Grand Umayyad Mosque of Damascus, or, as I will mention again, the Great Abbasid Mosque of Samarra. This style would also be copied in later mosques, such as the Al-Hakim Mosque as well, which is also found in Cairo. The mosque's interior is adorned with intricate carved decorations, showcasing the art history of early Islamic craftsmen. The geometric and vegetal patterns are characteristic of Abbasid art, and although much of the original stucco has weathered over time, the surviving examples provide a glimpse into the decorative traditions of the period. Compare with earlier Umayyad decorative art that was often, rather than carved in, often painted on instead, as can be seen on the Great Umayyad Mosque of Damascus. There are painted sections of the Ibn Tulun Mosque as well, so it is not entirely gone either, and the Ibn Tulun Mosque does have some influences going back to the earlier Umayyad period in terms of influences upon the decorative art inside of the mosque. Though the Ibn Tulun Mosque's architecture reflects mostly Abbasid influence, reflecting an influence that would later inspire Islamic architecture across North Africa and the Middle East, even during later periods. The mosque covers an expansive area of approximately 26,000 square meters, making it one of the largest mosques in Cairo and one of the world's largest Abbasid-style mosques, and mosques overall. And the grandness and magnificence of this mosque is a statement of power and a call for legitimacy. Pretty much, it is saying, look at what I have erected and dedicated in the name of God. See how pious I am as a ruler. And it ought to be remembered here that the Tulunids were a slave soldier dynasty that was in a very politically precarious position, as their legitimacy was not great, being Turkic slaves in origin and not of the classical Arab aristocracy that controlled most of the middle and higher levels of power in Egypt and the greater Middle East. Furthermore, besides being originally slaves in origin, they were also Turkic in origin, and Turkic people were viewed with suspicion during this time. Look at this probably fabricated hadith from the same time period, for example. The hour will not be established until you fight with the Turks, people with small eyes, red faces and flat noses. Their faces will look like shields coated with leather. The hour will not be established till you fight with people whose shoes are made of hair. It needs to be understood that this great mosque was built in a greater context of anti-Turkic sentiment that viewed Turkic people and those descended from Turkic people as being unable to be proper true Muslims. So, the Tulunids, they had to make grand statements like building these great mosques, like the Ibn Tulun Mosque, to compensate for this. To show pious devotion, to show that these stereotypes that were common were wrong about them, or could not be applied to them. Building the Ibn Tulun Mosque in the Abbasid style was also an imitation of the Abbasids, because despite being the leaders of a secession from the Abbasids, the Tulunids were still required to not scare away their supporters, the local Arab elite, too much by seeming too foreign. Hence, copying the Abbasids could be a way to signal that things would not change that much, and that they would be and could be, like the previous Abbasids, only better local rulers. That the Tulunids taking control over Egypt had not cut them off from the high culture found in Iraq and the rest of the Arab world, where the Abbasids ruled. The Abbasid style of the Ibn Tulun Mosque was also the style that was dominant, since the Abbasids were still the main caliphate and a dynasty of prestige in the Islamic world, which other political entities within the Islamic world tried to imitate to various degrees and compare themselves to. And building the Ibn Tulun Mosque was a part of this, in trying to imitate the grandeur of the Abbasids and also trying to compete with the Abbasids locally. And also, unlike the later slave soldier dynasty, the Ikhshidiyun, or the Ikshidid dynasty, the Tulunids under Ahmed ibn Tulun were efficient and economically competent governors that managed to keep order and ensure local prosperity, which meant that they, unlike the Ikshidiyun or Ikshidids, actually had the resources to spend upon projects like this great mosque. And through this, Ahmed ibn Tulun managed to leave a great legacy that we can enjoy today. Because unlike many other historical buildings in Cairo, the Ibn Tulun Mosque has survived largely intact and is one of the world's oldest still in use mosques. This is partially due to its solid construction and its location in a relatively less congested part of the city. However, it has undergone several periods of restoration, the most significant being during the 20th century in the 1920s, under the supervision of the Comité de conservation des monuments de l'art arabe. Today, it is not only a functioning mosque, but also a popular tourist attraction, drawing visitors from around the world, who come to admire its architectural beauty and historical significance, a significance that Ahmed ibn Tulun very much intended. It is a great legacy that I personally hope to visit in the future, because this mosque is more than just a place of worship. It is a symbol of a bygone era, a monument to the ambition of a ruler who sought to establish his own power and legacy within the broader Islamic world by copying the greatest and most prestigious power around, the Abbasid Caliphate, from which he had broken off from, but still needed to relate to copy, to emulate. The Ibn Tulun Mosque stands as a lasting legacy of Ahmed ibn Tulun and the complexity of the early Islamic period in Egypt that necessitated the building of monuments like this great mosque as statements of power. And I hope you, my viewers, have found this video interesting. Please ask questions and post comments in the comment section, and I will try to respond to you as quickly as possible.
Please do subscribe, as it would help the channel spread awareness about the humanities.
اشتركوا بالقناة من فضلكم.